I'm Vesper, and I once thought loyalty defined me, until it nearly broke me. In Greystone, where the sea gnaws at cliffs, I slaved at a fish plant, pouring every dime into Callista, Rune, and Thalia, my sister, uncle, and cousin. I traded my photography dreams for their hollow thanks, believing it was love. Then Thalia's video hit, a mistake that bared their scorn. She's a pitiful fool, they laughed, scheming lies like the docks collapsing to drain me dry. They sold my carved pendant, squandered my sweat on secret getaways, and branded me their cash cow. I didn't yell, I went quiet, plotting a reckoning they'd never foresee. What unfolds is betrayal's sting, my battle to rise, and a freedom I seized from their grip. Curious how I turned their greed against them? Come walk my path. Every night I stumble home from the fish processing plant in Greystone with hands that stink of guts and salt, my joints creaking from hours bent over slimy scales. My cottage clings to a cliff, its warped boards shuddering as the Pacific crashes below. A fierce song I can't capture because every penny I scrape together flows to Callista, Rune, and Thalia, my sister, uncle, and cousin, who depend on me like I'm their lifeline. I sink onto a chair at my wobbly table, the sea's damp chill creeping through the walls, and tally the paychecks I've sent, each one a stone in the foundation I've laid for them. My dreams of photography, of freezing the waves' rage or the gull's swift curves, lie smothered beneath their constant demands, and I convince myself it's okay, that family trumps everything. Grandmother Isolde's words ring in my head. You're our anchor, a lesson drilled into me as a kid when she'd count my chores with a nod, her voice a tether I've carried so long it's fused to me. I handed Rune my camera savings once, $500 for a venture he swore would bloom, but it vanished, and I never pressed him, just kept working, kept giving, kept hoping it meant something. Tonight, I flick on my phone, its light piercing the gloom, and spot Thalia's text. Grateful. 2 thin words that spark a weary smile, a flicker of heat in the chill of my routine. The plant's odor sticks to my skin, my mattress groans under my weight, and I lie there, the tide's restless hum filling my ears, tempting me to imagine it's pulling me somewhere else, somewhere free. I push that thought away, roll onto my side, and shut my eyes, insisting their thanks tips the scales, that this is loyalty, that this is enough. The wind wails through the cracks, a low groan echoing the heaviness in my chest, and I slip into sleep, grasping that frail thread of hope, blind to the betrayal sharpening its edge just beyond my reach. Rain taps my cottage roof past midnight, a restless rhythm that drags me from sleep, and my phone buzzes on the crate beside me, its light spilling across the room like a flare over dark water. Thalia's name glows on the screen, a video file pulsing beneath it, and before I can think, she unsends it, a flicker of panic I catch too late because my finger's already on play, curiosity tugging me like a riptide. Callista's voice cuts through first, shrill as a wind-whipped buoy. She's a pitiful fool, and my stomach knots, tight as a fisherman's hitch. Rune's laugh slinks in, thick and smug. Our money well, he mutters, and Thalia's snicker follows, sharp as a splintered oar, their words sinking into me while they sprawl in Rune's trailer, faces lit by a smug glow I can almost taste. Callista tosses out a lie, casual as driftwood. The dock's collapsing, she says, a ploy to hook my next paycheck, and I see it, their hands greedy around my earnings, picking me clean. My breath catches, thin and ragged, like I've surfaced from a dive too fast, and my eyes prickle, a heat I blink back, refusing to let it spill. I clutch the phone, fingers stiff, and let it play again, their voices weaving a net of scorn, each barb a hook I didn't feel until now. Nothing like the plant's grind or the sea's steady pulse. I could shout, could smash this thing against the wall, and let the night swallow it. But my jaw locks, my chest burns, and I sit frozen, the mattress creaking under me, rain threading through the silence outside. They've made me their fool, a shadow dancing to their tune, and that truth wraps around me, cold as kelp, pulling me under. My hands shake, not from fear, but from something stirring. A current shifting deep, and I stare at the screen, their blurred shapes taunting me through the haze. The storm softens to a murmur, a faint echo to the churn inside, and I feel it, a fracture splintering through the me I've been, quiet but real, waiting to break wide. Night settles over my cottage like a damp net, heavy and close, and I sit on the floor with my knees drawn up, the phone resting in my palms, its screen a dull mirror until I wake it with a tap. Callista's pitiful fool pierces the quiet, a jagged shell pressed to my core, and Rune's money well follows, a weight settling in my ribs, their voices drifting through the room, faint as smoke from a dying fire. I don't flinch now, I listen, letting the sting feed a slow burn, a swell I've kept tethered too long. I see Rune's face, years ago, his crooked smile as he tucked my camera savings into his pocket, $500 I'd earned through sweat-soaked shifts. A venture, he'd murmured, a hollow vow that crumbled like sand under the tide. I'd let it go then, head bowed, filleting fish while their needs swallowed mine. But that memory flickers now, a lantern in the fog. Callista's note lies on the table, its edges curling, a plea for rent scrawled in her shaky hand, and I study it, my heartbeat a steady thrum against the stillness, like oars dipping into calm water. I reach for it, pause, then ease it into a drawer, the soft thud of wood closing a sound I savor, a knot untying in my chest. Later, I kneel by a trunk near the sill, hands sifting through faded cloth until they find my old camera. Its body scratched, its strap frayed, a piece of me I'd cast adrift. I lift it, the lens glinting with a far-off ship's light, and a warmth stirs, soft as embers under ash, a pulse of something alive beneath the hurt. Beyond my window, the sea rolls, dark and endless, stitched with pinpricks of starlight, and it calls to me, a whisper threading through my veins, loosening the hold I've let them have. I don't shout, don't weep, just cradle the camera against me, its cool metal, a quiet anchor, and I feel their grip slipping, their greed a tide I'm ready to turn. Days unravel like a worn rope, each thread peeling loose, and I settle by my cottage window, the sea stretching out, a restless quilt of gray patched with foam under a sky sagging with unshed rain. My phone stirs, a faint buzz swelling to a clamor, texts piling up like seaweed snagged on the shore. "Where's the money, Vesper? You're burying us," Callista writes, her words wobbling with reproach, and Rune's voicemail grates through. "You owe us, mark that," his growl a weathered plank splintering underfoot. I cup a mug, tea bitter and cold, and let their pleas ripple past me, a current I no longer chase, their voices stacking silent in the dimness. Gossip seeps through Greystone's briny air. Thalia swapped my carved pendant for a scatter of coins, a keepsake I'd honed by lamplight, now flung away like scrap, and it nicks me, a gull's beak grazing my calm, though I press it down, firm as the tides pull. Their desperation crests, a gale fraying their patched-together lives, and I see Callista twisting her fingers, her voice cracking in a call I let fade unanswered, Rune stomping his creaking porch, rage unraveling his seams. My quiet grows, solid as a breakwater holding back their flood, threading through me like veins of quartz and cliffstone. And I sift their messages by candlelight, the flame dipping low, casting quivers of gold across the walls. Their need a hum I've slipped free from. I don't grin, don't gloat, just brush my thumb along the camera's chipped frame beside me, feeling a stir beneath my breath, a murmur I'm starting to recognize. They've tethered their world to my shoulders, a shanty of reeds and ruse, and now it leans, wobbling without my hands to brace it. The sea drones outside, a steady chant weaving through the dark, and I linger, tasting the salt on my tongue. This stillness a choice I'm holding, a pulse I'm finding, not yet a song but near enough to hum. Rain sweeps across my cottage one evening, a fierce shroud veiling the sea, and I'm twisting a coil of hemp when a thud shakes the door. knuckles striking like stones against a hollow hull. I drift to the window, breath misting the glass, and glimpse Callista and Rune, their forms bowed under the downpour, faces taut with wrath. Callista's shout pierces the gale, raw as a snapped line. "Open up, Vesper!" And Rune roars, "You've no call to cut us loose!" His voice a splintered beam buckling in the wind. I linger, fingers tracing the sill, watching their outlines blur, until Callista's cry fractures. "The dock held, we took trips!" Her words spilling free, a slick stain seeping through the cracks of their deceit. My ribs tighten, not from surprise, but from a truth honed keen as a gutting knife. My toil frittered on their jaunts while I patched their lives with my own. I move to the door, palm on the latch, and nudge it ajar, rain needling my skin as I face them. "I'm through," I say, my tone a taut rope holding fast, then close it, the bolt clicking sharp, a sound that settles in my marrow. Their yells flare, a squall clawing at the frame, Callista's sobs weaving through Rune's oaths, but their steps falter, retreating as the storm swallows them whole, leaving only echoes. I cross the room, the floor chilled beneath me, and lift my camera, its heft a steady companion in my grip. The lens catches the rain's dance, jagged ribbons threading the dusk beyond, and I press the shutter once, then again, each snap a breath easing the tangle within. The sea's growl rolls through, a low hymn under the wind's wail, drowning their faded din, and I stand there, the air thick with damp. This moment, a ledge I've claimed, rough-hewn and mine, their tempest breaking against a will I've finally turned. Weeks melt into a tender blur, the sea's sigh gentler now, and I rise to days where my cottage glows with a calm I've spun, not stolen. Their calls trickle to silence, a wave pulling back from a coast I've ceased to mend, and Thalia's letter lands on my step, its edges soft with dew, her pleas curling in ink I don't linger on, so I carry it to the fire, watching flames lick it clean, a wisp of ash drifting up like a breath I've unknotted. I sell a photo, cliffs cradling a flushed sky, the payment a modest ripple I gather, and I swap it for film, rolls of promise I tuck close like stones smoothed by the tide. My walls awaken, prints unfurling across them, sharp crags and gulls in fleeting arcs, each one a pain I've unshuttered, letting dawn spill where dusk once clung. One morning, I slip outside, the air tangy with brine, and drape my camera over my neck, its cord a soft yoke against my skin, then tread to the shore, where waves etch the sand with lace. I crouch, capturing a swell as it bends inward, the shutters hum a thread in a tune I'm weaving, and the skyline opens vast, a sweep untouched by their reach. Their echoes, once a roar in my ears, have thinned to a rustle I barely hear. And I stand, toes sinking into cool grit, a tie to this ground I'm claiming. I don't turn, don't search for their traces, just taste the salt on the breeze, my heartbeat threading with the sea's pulse, a step I've taken on my own. Word floats through Greystone, murmurs of their faltering lives. But I let them drift, my fingers busy with focus and frame, crafting a path from their rubble. The sun lifts, burnishing the water, and I pause there, waves brushing my ankles, this liberty a swell I'm riding, lifting me beyond their pull. Months fold into a tranquil cadence, the seas murmur a steady thread, and I rise to a cottage brimming with my own craft, its walls alive with prints that snare the morning's glow, each one a tale I've wrested free. I tack an exhibit invite to the wall, its corners crisp as I ease back, my name etched firm, a signpost on a trail I've hewn from their mire. I trade photos now, waves and bluffs bartered online, the earnings a gentle current that pools for me alone, and I frame a dawn spilling over the harbor, its sheen a vow I've honored to my core. I see Callista and Rune, their days unraveling in a shack by the wharf, the boat they vowed to mend lost to the tides, their squabbles a faint rasp under the wind's sweep, and Thalia, hunched on a splintered bench, eyes tracing the surf, her mirth from that video, a ghost she can't shake. Their lives buckle, seams splitting under their own weight, and I let them slide by. A wreck drifting beyond my reach, no longer mine to salvage. I strolled to the shore one afternoon, sand yielding beneath my steps, and crouched to capture a rock parting the waves, its contours smoothed by the sea's long touch. The shutters sigh, a lock on this world I've shaped. The town thrums, their names slipping from its weave, and I rise, the breeze lifting strands of my hair, tasting the salt that's woven into me. I mail a photo, the cost of loyalty, a skyline pierced by a lone ray, and glimpse my face in the postbox glass, eyes steady, a woman unbound from their grasp. Their echo fades, a ripple dissolving on the water's face, but I don't pause, my hands cradling lens and light, my hours a swell I've found my place within. The sun dips, bathing the sea in bronze, and I stand there, waves lapping at my feet, this stillness a harbor I've gained, a price I've paid and shaped to gleam. Looking back, I see I gave more than coins. I gave years of my spirit, poured into hands that clutched only their own gain. Loyalty carved a steep toll, taught me through their lies, those mocking words that squandered gold, until breaking free unveiled my worth, a flame I'd smothered beneath their grasp. It's a bitter lesson, how love can cloak deceit, but in its breaking, you unearth a strength, a beacon to lead you true. What of you, though? Have you ever offered your all, only to find it scattered by those you trusted? I'd welcome your tales, your own costs and victories, to share this shore's hard-won light. This has been my path to tell, yet it's yours to ponder too, in whatever echoes it stirs. I'll return with more from these waves. Until then, seek the spark that's yours alone.